If elected, what do you plan to do about CPS corruption across the U.S.?
Well, corruption across the U.S., so tell me what you mean by CPS.
Child protective
Oh, child protective, yeah. So listen, so there's a couple issues here. There's the easy stuff and then there's the hard stuff. The easy stuff is we need to enforce the laws that are already on the books. People say we need new laws. Okay, we can debate new laws. We have fine laws on the books. We're just not enforcing them. So part of my plan to shut down the FBI, it's not just about rooting out political corruption. It's an institution that has failed to even provide security in enforcing the existing laws. You know who's been a lot better at that? In the federal government, the U.S. Marshals. So I said I'll shut down the FBI. The 20,000 back office employees reporting to the J. Edgar Hoover building, they can go home and find honest work in the private sector. But 15,000 of them on the front lines are agents, good people doing potentially good work. We're going to move them to the U.S. Marshals. We'll move some of them to the DEA to take on the fentanyl crisis with greater specialization. Even the ones with financial crimes, put them in the Treasury Department where you have the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. This is actually how you reorganize that federal government. These aren't slogans to me. When I say shut down the FBI, I really mean we're going to get in there and shut down the FBI, but not because we're going to trade off the enforcement of laws. For example, I think the crisis that we have in the way children are being trafficked in and within and beyond and into this country, but to be much more effective in how we're actually addressing that crisis. And the U.S. Marshals hasn't also been politicized in the same way that the FBI has. This is how we actually drive change. Now, I think that there's a lot else we could talk about. Sealing the border is an important component here. Enforcing the existing laws are a component here. But I think that there's also a separate issue that we need to have the courage to discuss. There's a demand side problem in this country. There's a culture of pornography in this country that I think is something we have to confront. I mean, most kids have actually been, by the age of 12 or so, a majority of kids have been exposed to pornography by the age of 12. We don't talk about this stuff. You're not supposed to talk about it. You sweep it under the rug, pretend like it doesn't exist. If you're going to stand for the truth, you got to speak the truth. Social media is a big source of where perpetrators and child victims actually establish their first point of contact. My view is, for so many reasons, if you're not old enough to smoke an addictive cigarette by the age of 18, or to have an addictive drink of alcohol by the age of 21, you should not be using an addictive social media product by the age of 16 either. Especially when kids are getting Snapchat-driven Percocet laced with fentanyl. That's where they're getting it, on Snapchat. It's where they're actually setting up rendezvous for people who end up becoming child traffickers. These are taboo topics. You're not supposed to say this in public. I think we have to have the courage to confront the truth, the culture of sexualization, perpetuated by the proliferating cancer of social media, especially in youth. To have the courage to say, we're actually going to hold the hard line. No social media under the age of 16. We will protect our children. Children should not be exposed to pornography and a culture of hypersexualization at a young age. And by the way, a lot of that's happening even through our own schools in the name of transgender education. No. We have to stand for what's right. So the easy part, I will absolutely get through and do it. That's something the U.S. president can do on his own without asking Congress for permission or forgiveness. Reorganize the federal government, make sure we actually enforce the federal laws on the books, not by going and indicting our political opponents, spending the FBI's resources doing that instead of actually protecting Americans on American soil. That much will get done on day one. But I can't fix the culture alone. I really mean this. I think it's important for all of us to understand this. We fall into this trap of thinking there's going to be some political messiah coming from on high from the White House to save us. It doesn't work that way, guys. I'm not letting you all off the hook that easily either. If we are going to be saved, it is going to be because we save ourselves. There are some things the president can do. I do believe in a youth ban on any form of algorithmic social media. But it's going to take a culture of other leaders. Not just state representatives and legislators too, but parents, coaches, community leaders, stepping up and standing up with the spine too against the culture of hypersexualization that drives some of the underbelly of the beast that is at least 50% of this problem as well. Thank you for that question. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, please.